Hello everybody. Today we are going to use balloons to make a dollhouse. As a base for the sculpture we're going to use a cube, something we have already done many times before. Today we are going to make a cube working in slightly different ways. Inflate two brown color balloons leaving about 8-inch flat tails. In this example we're going to twist all bubbles of the same, about half an inch or maybe up to 1-inch size bubbles. It would take 2, maybe 3 balloons to make each side of the cube with sides 6 by 6 bubbles. Here we're making chain of first 5 bubbles, and let's lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 bubbles in one lock twist. We have made the center. Now let's twist the chain of the next 3 bubbles. I choose brown color balloons for this side of the cube to represent the floor of our dollhouse. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 bubbles in one lock twist. We have to force the rest of the balloon through the loop of the 4 bubbles at the center. In this way we're going to work the rest of the brown square, working around the center, adding the second and then third row of the square. Let's twist the chain of the next 3 brown bubbles. Then we lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 bubbles in one lock twist. The cube, as you know, supposed to have 6 sides. Just for this example I want to make each side of the cube in a different way. And also, just for this example, I want to use different type of connections between sides of the cube. In this instruction I want to share with you some ideas that you may incorporate in making your dollhouse. Making any large size sculpture is a time and balloon consuming process. It would help you to understand what you could do and how. What kind of connections to make between sides, where to start and how to finish the sculpture. Also, for convenience of this instruction, I'm going to use different color balloons to make each side. And here we have to lock both ends of the chain of the first 16 bubbles in one lock twist. We have made square with sides 4 by 4 bubbles. It consists of 2 rows of balloons. Now we're going to work around this square to make the third row of the square with sides 6 by 6 bubbles. To make a cube with sides 6 by 6 by 6, we have to make and connect over 200 bubbles. Either way you look at it, it may take about a couple hours of work. And here I already attached the second brown balloon. Continue work around the square. We can add more balloons as necessary if you want to make any larger size sculpture. Alright, we have made the square piece of fabric with sides 6 by 6 bubbles. Let's cut off the rest of the balloon, tie off the end. This side of the cube will represent the floor. The next side of the cube I want to make using 2 different colors. Let's use clear color balloon. Make a chain of the first 7 bubbles. We are making central part of the wall, which is a window with sides 4 by 4 bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 clear bubbles in one lock twist. Make a chain of the next 3 bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 8 bubbles in one lock twist. Continue your work in the same way. As you may notice, this time it's much faster and easier to work than when we work with the brown balloon. And it's all because we don't have to force the balloon through the loop of bubbles. This way we save in time and greatly reduce chance of popping bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 16 bubbles in one lock twist. Cut off the rest of the balloon. Lock both ends of the chain of the first 4 or the last 12 bubbles in one lock twist. We have made clear color square piece of fabric with sides 4 by 4 bubbles. It is a window. Also it is a center part of the bigger square that we are working on. It's square with sides 6 by 6 bubbles we have to make. Once we make the third row of the square it will look something like that. I'm going to attach blue color balloon to the clear square. We are going to work blue balloon around the clear square in exactly the same way as we did the third row of the brown square. There is only one and very important difference. This time we have to connect this side of the cube to the brown side of the cube that we have already made. So let's say it again. We're making a wall with a window, and we have to connect the wall to the floor, the brown floor that we have already made. So now we have to connect one side of this square to the brown square. There are 6 bubbles on each side of the square. It means that we have 3 connection points on each side of the square. As we start in new side of the blue square, we have to force the end of the blue balloon between 2 appropriate bubbles of the brown square at the corner of the square. Continue work on the blue square, keep working in this way to finish the rest of the blue square and connect it to the brown square. 2 connected squares makes one rectangular shape with sides 6 by 12 bubbles. The first brown square represents the floor of our dollhouse, and the second square represents the wall with the window. Here we have finally connected 2 squares together, and now we just have to finish the rest of the blue square. Now we can cut off the rest of the balloon, tie off the end. The third square piece we're going to make will represent another wall. I'm going to start it by making the corner of the cube. Twist the chain of the first 2 bubbles. I found it easier for me to lock chain of small bubbles than to push long end of the balloon through the loop of small bubbles. Let's lock the free end of the second bubble between 2 brown bubbles at the corner next to the wall. Then we tie the nozzle of the balloon between the next 2 brown bubbles. This way we have made 2 connection points on the brown side. Twist the third bubble, and then we lock the free end of the third bubble between the 2 blue bubbles at the corner of the wall. We have made the corner of the cube. The previous 2 squares we have made by working from the center of the square. This time, as you can see, we work the square starting from the third row, from the edge of the square. Keep making the bubbles and connect them to the blue wall. Working in this way, we have to make total of 7 bubbles before we reach to the end of the blue wall. Now it's time to calculate how many bubbles we have to make. It takes total of 36 bubbles to make the square. The third row, the perimeter of the square, made of total 20 bubbles. So far we have made 7 bubbles. We have to make 11 more bubbles just to get to the corner of the floor. After that we will have to twist 2 more bubbles to finish the third row of this square. So here I'm making the chain of 11 bubbles. Alright, let's lock the free end of the 18th bubble between 2 brown bubbles at the corner of the floor, right here. Make sure you connect to the same side of the brown square where we already started our work. Alright, twist the chain of the next 2 bubbles. And now we have to lock both ends of the chain of the first 20 bubbles in one lock twist. We have made the third row of the square. There is not much balloon left, so I cut it off. Now I have to attach the same color balloon at the same point. Now we have to make the second row of this square. Let's twist the chain of the first 2 bubbles. Lock the free end of the second bubble between 2 bubbles located closer to the top of the wall. The nozzle of the balloon I'm going to tie between 2 bubbles located closer to the bottom side of the wall. Twist the third bubble. Now we are making the corner. Lock the free end of the third bubble between the second and the third bubbles from the corner. Twist the next 2 bubbles. Lock the free end of the 5th bubble between nearest 2 bubbles of the third row. Twist the 6th bubble. We are making another corner. Keep working in the same way to make the second row of the square. It would take total of 12 bubbles actually to make the second row of this square. You have to make 2 bubbles for each side of the square, plus 1 bubble for each corner of the square. I want to make each side of our cube slightly differently. Hopefully it will help you to get better ideas on what to do and how. On this particular side I want to make little window, square shape, right at the center with sides 2 by 2 bubbles. Once you finish the second row, cut off the rest of the balloon. Let's use clear color balloon to make a chain of 4 bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the first 4 bubbles in one lock twist. Cut off the rest of the balloon. We have made the window. This window I'm going to attach using just one connection point. This way we can close the window or keep it open as you wish. Alright, we have made the third square piece. It represents the wall width of window that we can open or close. I'm going to use dark blue color balloon to make the fourth side of the cube. Twist a chain of the first 3 bubbles. Lock the free end of the third dark blue bubble between 2 brown bubbles at the corner of the cube. Then we lock the free end of the first dark blue bubble between nearest 2 brown bubbles. This time I want to make different kind of connection between sides of the cube. Twist the 4th bubble. Twist the 5th bubble. And now we lock both ends of the 5th bubble in one lock twist. We have made connection or additional bubble. And now we twist a chain of the next 3 bubbles. Lock both ends of the 8th bubble in one lock twist. Twist a chain of the next 3 bubbles. Lock both ends of the 11th bubble in one lock twist. We have made 3 connection bubbles, the 5th, 8th and the 11th bubbles. Now we simply force connection bubbles between appropriate 2 bubbles of the nearest wall that we are working with. We've been using connection bubbles to make different sculptures before, including cubes as well. This time again we work the square starting from the 3rd row. We use the extra additional bubbles as a connection between walls, and I'm going to use a regular connection to attach this side of the cube to the roof and the floor. So here we're making a chain of bubbles. Again we have to do the calculations, how many additional bubbles we have to make. You remember, 3 per side. Twist the 18th bubble, lock both ends of the 18th bubble in one lock twist. I don't have enough balloon left. Let's attach the same color balloon at this point and keep working in the same fashion, making additional bubbles as necessary. Here we have made the 3rd connection bubble. Twist the next bubble and lock its free end between 2 brown bubbles at the corner. Twist the 26th dark blue bubble. Lock both ends of the chain of the first 26 bubbles in one lock twist. And now we can work the rest of the balloon to make the second row of the dark blue square. As in the previous example, it would take total of 12 bubbles to make the second row of the square. If you want, you can make a window as well on this side of the cube. You already know that you can use clear color balloon to make the window. And there is another way to make the window. Just keep the hole in the wall. And that's exactly what I'm going to do on this side of the cube. Like this. Alright. I'm going to use yellow color balloon to make the 5th side of the cube. The yellow side of the cube will represent the wall with the hole for the window. Twist the first yellow bubble. Attach the first yellow bubble between the light blue bubbles and the brown bubbles. We made the corner, and now we work the yellow balloon along the light blue side. We made and connect first 5 yellow bubbles. Now we have to make chain of the next 6 yellow bubbles. Then we connect the 11th yellow bubble with the dark blue connection bubble at the top of the wall. Keep working the yellow balloon along the dark blue side, connecting the bubbles, going up to the brown floor. Here we use the 16th yellow bubble to make the corner between dark blue and brown sides. Here I'm going to work the yellow balloon in opposite direction to make the door. Twist the next 2 yellow bubbles, making total of 18 bubbles. And then we lock both ends of the last 4 yellow bubbles in one lock twist. At this point it seems that I'm running out of yellow balloon. And so here I'm going to attach the second yellow balloon. We have already made the third row of the yellow square. And now we're working to make the second yellow row. It would take total of 12 bubbles. Once we reach the floor level, we have to cut off the rest of the balloon and tie off the ends. We have made the wall with a rectangular shape frame for the door. And now I'm going to use the red color balloons to make the 6th side of this cube. I'm working this side starting from the center of the square. I work in the same fashion as we did the window with sides 4x4 bubbles. Let's attach the second red balloon. Let's work it to make the third row of the square. This time I want to make 3 connection bubbles on each side of the square. You may use third red balloon to finish the square if necessary. This side of the cube will represent the flat roof of Dollhouse. Connection bubbles on each side of the red square will make it very easy to connect this flat roof to all 4 walls of our Dollhouse. In my opinion, it makes much more sense for you to use connection bubbles even to connect walls between each other. Here we have made the red square. Now let's attach it to the cube. We simply have to lock connection bubbles between appropriate bubbles of the walls. Also, you're very welcome to check previously published instruction where we made cube using connection bubbles, just in case if you have any problem with connection bubbles. Congratulations, we have made the cube, and also it is a simple dollhouse. It has roof, walls, floor, windows and door. Let's make the door. I use orange balloon to make rectangular shape with sides 2x4 bubbles. Basically we have to make 2 connected squares with sides 2x2 bubbles. Also I attach the long side of the door to the wall. This way we can open or close the door. Alright, the dollhouse with flat roof is kind of simple. We can improve it by making roof of different shape. About a couple weeks ago we have made a cube and it's still intact. It shrinks down a lot, but nevertheless we can use it to make the rectangular shape roof, like this. We can attach it with connection bubbles or simply use flat balloons. In this example I want to make a different variation of the roof. Inflate 6 balloons and tie them in 3 pairs. I'm going to make 2 connected squares with sides 6x6 bubbles each. Also in this example I'm going to make connection bubbles at the corner between 2 squares, the top of the roof. And also I'm going to make connection bubbles on one side of the roof, right here. A bit later I'm going to make rectangular shaped piece of fabric and we will use connection bubbles to attach it to the roof. In this example it is going to be the front side of the dollhouse or front side of the roof. The back side of the roof I'm going to keep open. This way children could play with this dollhouse and put some dolls or whatever toys they want inside of the dollhouse. And here we're making the top of the roof. Remember to make the connection bubbles on this side of the square. And then we keep working in the same fashion to make the second square. In this example I'm going to attach a roof to walls using the ends of the balloons. Or if you want you can use the connection bubbles that we already made, as you may remember, at the sides of the red square. Here I cut the rest of the balloons leaving long ends. This is how the roof looks at this point. And now I'm going to use 2 balloons to make triangular shaped piece of fabric. First I twist a chain of the first 4 bubbles and lock both ends of the chain in one lock twist. Then twist a chain of the next 11 bubbles. Lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 bubbles in one lock twist. And now we work backward. 2 bubbles for the side, 1 bubble for the corner and 2 bubbles for the side. That's it. Cut off the rest of the balloon. Attach clear color balloon. We're going to make triangular shaped window on the roof. Tie the nozzle of the clear balloon at the bottom of the roof. Make clear bubbles and attach them to the green balloon. 2 bubbles for the side, 1 bubble for the corner, 2 bubbles for the side. And then after you make the chain of the first 5 clear bubbles, you have to lock both ends of the chain of the last 4 clear bubbles in one lock twist. Twist the 6th clear bubble, and then we lock both ends of the chain of the last 2 clear bubbles in one lock twist. You have to roll the 5th clear bubble around the 6th clear bubble. Make the 7th bubble and attach it to the green balloon. Cut off the rest of the balloon. We have made the window using 7 bubbles and only 6 of them visible. Now I'm going to attach the triangular shaped piece of fabric to the front side of the roof, using connection bubbles at the edge of the roof. Congratulations, we have made the roof. The back side of the roof I'm going to keep open. Now let's attach the roof to the red side of the cube. As you may notice in this example, the base of the triangle protrudes slightly. I'd rather keep it this way than make the triangle smaller size, because then we will have a gap between the roof and the wall. I place the front side of the roof above the door. As I already mentioned before, we can use ends of the balloons to attach roof to the cube, or we can use red connection bubbles to attach roof to the walls as well. Congratulations, we have made the dollhouse. I think it will look better if you make all walls using the same color balloons, and also we can use connection bubbles to connect all walls. You can attach a set of helium-filled balloons to this sculpture to make it float in the air. That's another good idea for the party. As you can see, this size dollhouse is quite suitable to play with some action toys. Here, all kind of superheroes, Spider-Man. You may want to put some small book on the floor inside of the dollhouse. This way the dollhouse will stay firmly on any flat surface. Book in the house?
Can't get in.
He can get it in. He can.
He's going across.
Rick. Счастье. Заспано.
Santa Claus.
Yeah. And there is windows that you can open. Well, one window you can open, the small one. Another one is sealed. And the third one is broken. On my side, with a blue wall, dark blue wall. Not on your side. On your side is okay. It's a big window, like in your apartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Parker is coming home. Oh, this window is open.
That one is open.
Yeah, and the other one is broken. Yeah.
I should fix this one.
You can.
Some places down here.
Okay, you got the idea.
Have fun and happy twisting.